Right, so British Empire. (1857) to 1914. What I'm going to try and do is do a timeline of conflict and see if we can get this all in here. Okay, most of the dates I will remember. Some might be a bit of a stretch. So, course starts with conflict and ends with conflict. Okay, so 1857. First conflict that we've got is Indian Mutiny. Okay. So we've got the Indian Mutiny, which is actually quite a close run thing in some respects. Okay, but remember, even though we call it the Indian Mutiny, not everyone in India actually mutinied because such a disparate nation based on social, caste, religion, languages. Okay. So yes, we've got the Indian Mutiny there, 1857. There's also another conflict being fought slightly prior that time, lasting 4 years. Yeah, the Opium Wars, the Second Opium War. Okay, so the Second Opium War is being fought. It ends with an unequal treaty, and the unequal treaty, well, it's to Britain's advantage whether it gets Hong Kong in perpetuity for well over 100 years anyway. Okay, and it's like unequal trading rights. So we've got the Indian Mutiny right there, 1856 to 1860. We've got the Second Opium War. There was a First Opium War also, 1839 to 1842. I'm going to close the. Good morning. So, right. Now the next conflict that I can think of. 1860s, there's not much conflict I can think of anyway. Might be a gap in the course, but we'll look. Okay, certainly doesn't really come up on the mark scheme. So look, I'm going to go to the 1870s. Okay, now, which is from like a high point of of conflict. Okay, so 1870s, the first war that I want to highlight your attention to is the Xhosa War. I know it's before 1879. You have the Zulu War in 1879. Can you just Google Xhosa War? But there's a lot of them. Let me have a look. Unfortunately, there's like 11 frontier wars with the Xhosa tribe, who, by the way, were an offshoot of the South Africans. Okay. Xhosa War, 1877. There we go. 1877. Right. That's where Sandili is murdered. And then you've got the First World War. Okay. Now, something I want to draw your attention to. So Arthur Conan Doyle did not think that it was a war. He described it as skirmishes. He doesn't think that it should be called the First World War. Okay. He disagrees with the terminology. There's also something else going on in 1877 to 1878, where the British make a show of force, but they're not directly fighting. Just a show of force was good enough. The Russo-Turkish War. Okay. So that's where the British fleet goes to Istanbul and basically says to the Russians, stop. And the Russians go, okay, because they're scared of the might of the British Navy. Okay. So there's a Russo-Turkish War there. Okay. You've also got this like great game going on between Britain and Russia. Okay. So you've also got a great game. And remember, that's just like a kind of Cold War. Okay. So it's kind of over Afghanistan. Okay. So the great game. Britain, Russia. Let's see what dates we got here. But like the Cold War, it's a bit hard to define because it doesn't really, it's not a real conflict, is it? Okay. Just says between the 19th century. So that's basically 1800 to 1900. Yes. 1 second. Right. So that great game is on these, for like a whole century, basically. Yes, we've got the Mahdist War. Okay, so the Mahdist War was well, it lasted a long time. You've got the Siege of Khartoum within it, which is very important, and that involves General Gordon, who is of course killed in it. Okay, the Mahdist War wouldn't really finish until like the kind of near turn of the century. And obviously there's an important battle in 1898, which is the Battle of Omdurman. It's not the final battle, but it seems to be a decisive one. Okay. You also got, is it like the 48-minute war? Okay, let me see. Yeah, the Anglo-Zanzibar War. Okay. So it's over very, very quickly. Okay, 38 minutes. There we go. Right, 1896. There we go. So, sorry, the Siege of Khartoum was 1885. Right, so 1886, Anglo Zanzibar War. Okay. I guess we could call it the Easter Rising, but it's the annoying thing is it's kind of between these two dates. But look, we've got the Easter Rising in 1916. Obviously, you've got World War One in 1914, but we're missing probably the most important war that we study on this course. Second World War. Yes. Okay. So 1889 to 1902, we've got the Second World War. Right. Do you think there's any glaring misses there? Got the British Empire book. Yeah. Let me see. I'm just going to look on the timeline. See if there's any glaring misses. I don't think I've missed any, but you know, you've got to be careful. Got to be careful. Ah, right. Right. 1882. Bombardment of Alexandria. So when the British make an excuse, going to Egypt. So let's put that there. 1882. That's when the British were invited to go into Egypt and make an impact. That's when Evelyn Baring really starts to become quite influential. Right. 1878 is part of that great game. You've also got, so there's a lot going on this time. 1878, you've got the Anglo-Afghan War. That was Britain really trying to say to the Russians, stay away from India. Right, 1900s. There is a lot of conflict in this course. Okay, there is a lot of conflict in this course. So 1900, we've got the Ashanti War. Now that is in what would be known as the Gold Coast, right? So Anglo-Ashanti War. So that is when the Gold Coast then became part after that. Okay, let's get the spelling of Ashanti. Right. Well, apparently you can spell it numerous different ways, and it's shown in the book. Okay, so there you go. Ashanti. But the British were very busy in conflict. There we go. There we go, guys. Very busy. Right. I'm going to end the video there. Okay, I'll put that on screen for everyone. But these things, again, it might be worth making little cards out of these words. Which important individuals, were involved, and what was the outcome? Yeah, what was the outcome? Okay, I'm going to stop there. Stop recording. Stop recording.